Here we go. Hello and welcome. My name is Sarah. I am one of the expert teachers here at E2 Language, and I'm going to take you through this live class today for IELTS. This is the speaking for both the academic and the general exams. So very welcome. I can see some people saying hi to me in the chat box. Let's see who we have here today. Hi Gayatri, hi Hani, hi Georgian, hi Meet Patel, hi Shrikant, hi Savin, hi Farouk. Too many people say hi to. Very welcome. Hi from Peru. Thank you, Nesta. It's nice to get some countries. Go on, tell me where you are in the world today. Let's find out. Have some of you been enjoying Australia Day down there in the Southern Hemisphere? Maybe. Georgian in the UK. Hello, India, UAE, Melbourne, Kerala, India, Yemen, SA, South Africa, I guess, Nigeria, Canada, Indonesia, Uzbekistan, Colombia, 2 Colombias, Maria and Josue. Welcome. Hi, Ireland, Zimbabwe, Singapore, Berlin, Germany. Must be cold up there, I think, at the moment. USA, Ghana, Bangladesh, a couple of people, Nigeria, a couple of people. Fantastic. Georgian, Myanmar. The list goes on and on. Welcome everybody from all over the world, it seems. Pakistan, Egypt, Singapore. Great. India and Afghanistan. Hi, Ali. So what we're going to do today, guys, is we're going to go through and look at an overview of the IELTS speaking test, all the different parts of the test. We will practice part 1 and part 2. We will do some vocabulary and a quiz on some of that vocabulary for our part 3. Then we're going to listen to part 3 sample and have some practice on that. And finally, there will be some questions and answers. So the whole thing is going to take us around an hour. So very welcome. If it's your first time, very welcome. The chat box is the place for questions. I'll try to get to them as we go through the session, and I'll also keep time at the end for any questions that you have. Great. Quick reminder before we get started. At the moment, we have a special offer that if you either buy a new package or you upgrade your current package, then you receive a free IELTS ebook. And this book has 20 topic toolkits to boost your score. So this is this really handy E2 ebook format. So this offer applies on all new packages and all upgrades. So the IELTS speaking test. Let's do a quick overview of this. Now, some of you are experts, I know, but some people are new and they don't know. So let's just remind ourselves some key features of the IELTS speaking test. First of all, the duration of the test. How long is it in minutes? Any ideas? You can let me know in the chat box. Okay, exactly. It's 11 to 14 minutes. Yeah, so this depends on how much you extend your answers, but you can expect it to be between 11 to 14 minutes. How many parts does it have? Exactly, you've got it. It has 3 parts, and all of this takes place one-to-one with an examiner. All right. The 3 parts are part 1, personal questions, part 2, exactly. Either people call it the cue card or the long turn, or you might call it the 2-minute talk. All right. And then part 3 is the discussion. Excuse me. Sorry. Oh, that was a surprise. Right. The timings for this are, first part is about 4 to 5 minutes. The part 2 is actually about 3 to 4 minutes. This is because it includes the 1 minute preparation time, and also it would include like a little follow-up question. It's not always the case that they include a follow-up question, but it often will. And part 3 is the discussion. It's 4 to 5 minutes. Again, this depends on how much you extend your answers. A couple of questions coming up on this. Is the speaking computer or examiner? It's always done with an examiner. Right now with COVID, some test centres are doing their tests in different ways. So you might be linked with the examiner via a video link rather than being in the same room, but it will be the examiner that is assessing you, right? So you would always, you might not be in the same room physically, but you will be speaking to a person. It's not computer corrected. Do they do a video recording or just MP3? Again, I think that depends on the test centre, Shrikant. So you should probably check with the test centre to ask that. I don't think that IELTS have any sort of stipulated rules about that. So the marking criteria for this are fluency and coherence, lexical resource, grammatical range, and accuracy and pronunciation. So the examiner will be asking the questions and also listening to you and marking you on these 4 criteria. And you can access this information online. This is a public information, and you can see the band scores and what is expected of a candidate at each band score. And so the examiner will give you a score for each of these 4 criterion, and this will make your score. Gayatri saying, I did a test in December. The examiner was sitting with a mask on and there was a shield between us. Yes, I mean, obviously, depending on your local circumstances, there may be COVID measures in place. The best advice that we can give is to make sure you practice with whatever you will have to do on test day. So if on test day you're going to be wearing a mask, then just make sure that you practice in advance with your mask on. Right, so that you have the experience of wearing a mask while you're doing a test. Don't make your first experience of doing that test day, right? Practice in advance. All right. There's no reason why wearing a mask should affect your score. Many people have been doing the IELTS test these last months and getting the results that they needed. So yeah. All right, so the next thing we'll do is take a look at IELTS Part 1. This is the personal questions. As I said, it's 4 or 5 minutes. Before this begins, though, the examiner will ask you some questions to check your identity. This goes something like this. So the examiner will introduce themselves. My name is da-da-da. Could you tell me your full name, please? What shall I call you? So if your name is a little bit complicated, you might volunteer this information, right? And give them a shortened version of your name or your nickname. Can you tell me where you're from? And can I see your ID, please? This is not assessed. So just, let's do a quick practice of this. Get yourself a recording app to record yourself. You want to be super confident doing this section, but do remember this is not assessed. So just give short, factual answers. If you start with a big, long description of your hometown or whatever, then the examiner will stop you. If they think that you're giving pre-prepared answers, they will just stop you. Okay, so here we go. Let's practice it. Get your recording apps ready and good luck.
Good afternoon. My name's Alex. Can you tell me your full name, please? Can you tell me where you're from? Can I see your ID, please? Thank you.
Okay, so that was our first little section, and then we're on to part 1 proper. Here's some basics about part 1. So the examiner will ask you about 12 questions on 3 different topics. And the first topic is always questions either about what you do or where you live. And then the second and the third topic can really be questions about anything. And I think we're seeing more and more that they're trying to kind of surprise you and throw in some quite difficult questions sometimes about weird topics. Somebody was asked recently about genes. like the trouser jeans that you wear, or you might be asked about perfume, or you might be asked about the stars, yeah, or any of these topics that you can see here on screen. But the good news is that the questions are always personal and simple. And so the idea is that these questions can be answered by anybody, whether they're a candidate looking for a 5 or a candidate looking for an 8, okay? So they might go something like this. Do you live in a big city or a small town? Or did you play sport as a child? In our course, in our E2 language methods, we recommend some different methods and techniques for the part 1 section. These are techniques which help you to extend your answers and demonstrate your range of grammar and vocabulary. Now, if you are aiming for a 7 or above, then you need to use these methods from the beginning. From your very first question, you need to show off, okay? What are these methods? Are you familiar with them? Here are some sort of pictorial representations of these. Let me know in the chat box if you remember any of them. Okay, Alessia, well done. Any more? Good, okay. I can see some of you have got some ideas, maybe not quite clear yet. The first one, this one is showing give your opinion. This one is about details, providing details. This one is giving contrasts, comparing the past to the present, comparing the present to the future, and finally give reasons. Now the reasons, could be any, and the reasons for the methods, as I've already explained, is they allow you to show the examiner your range. So let's practice with this. Get your recording apps ready. We're going to have 6 questions. I'll go straight from these 3 to the next 3. And here is a reminder of the different methods that you could use when you're doing this. Good luck.
Now, in this first part, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself. Let's talk about jewellery. Do you wear much jewellery? What kind of jewellery do you like? Why do some people keep jewellery for a long time? Let's talk about writing. Do you prefer to write by hand or type? When did you last send a real handwritten letter? Will children still learn to write in the future?
Okay, well done. So that was our first section. How did it go? Were you able to use some of those methods to extend your answers? I hope so. Somebody asking, all of those in 20 seconds? No, of course not. You might use just 1 or 2 methods for a question. They can be combined together, but you wouldn't be expected to use all 6 for a question. That would be really impressive, but I think a bit tricky, right? Let's go on to hear some examples. So first of all, I'm going to answer a couple of questions for you. So I'd like you to tell me which questions you'd like me to demonstrate. You can tell me in the chat box what you would like me to do. All right. Oh, 3 and 6. 3 and 6, 3 and 6. So why do some people keep jewelry for a long time? I think some people keep jewelry for sentimental reasons. So it might be a piece of jewelry that belonged to their mother or their grandmother, and it's being passed on through generations. And so obviously it would have a special significance because it reminded them of that person, or it gave them fond memories of that person. I stumbled a little there, but that's the kind of thing you're aiming for, right? Also other reasons, exactly. It could be investment reasons. It could be that it holds values. It could be sold one day. I'm not doing the answer now, by the way. We're just talking about other reasons. All right. And the other question, I think, was 6. I think many people saying 6. So let's go for that one. Will children still learn to write in the future? I sincerely hope so. I can see that compared to the past, nowadays, children are really very comfortable using technology, using keyboards or other types of screens to write messages, not using a pen or a pencil. But I really do hope that people continue to learn to write by hand, because I think it's a really important life skill. And sometimes you might not have access to a screen. And also sometimes the way we record our ideas with pen and pencil, it has a different quality to it than that of using a keyboard. Okay, there's an example, right? I think there I tried to use some examples of the contrast, like so in the past compared to now, people didn't use keyboards so much. Your answers don't have to be extremely long here. You maybe want to be aiming for about 3 sentences, but you certainly need to be showing a range of grammar and vocabulary in your answers. All right. Now I'm going to take some volunteers. So let me know in the chat box if you would like to have a go at one of these questions. Josue, I'm going to take you. I'm taking this randomly. I know it's really hard because lots of people would like to have a go, but Josue, I'm not sure if I've got your name quite right. Let's see. I'm going to allow you to talk.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, that's very clear. Wonderful. Am I saying your name correctly?
Yes, my name is Josue.
Josue. Nice to speak to you. Where are you speaking to us from today?
From Colombia.
Colombia, great. And do you have your IELTS test coming up soon?
In May. My IELTS test is in May.
Okay, so we've got a little bit of time to prepare. That's great. All right, so I'm going to ask you a question. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll ask you the first one. Do you wear much jewelry?
No, I don't wear much jewelry. The thing is that I don't like to wear a lot of jewelry. Usually, the only thing that I wear is watch. For me, with a watch, that is enough.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, what can you do here? If you really don't wear jewelry, you don't have to try to extend your answer for ages here, right? You can just sort of say, this is perfect, I would say. This is a really good example of an answer. Well done. I'll ask you another question. How would you deal with this one? What kind of jewelry do you like?
Usually the only thing that I wear is watches, as I said before. So for me, it can be like a technological watch, such as an Apple Watch, or a classical one, the classical watch.
Yeah. Now, good. Some people are suggesting in the chat box, I mean, what do you do here? And this question came up in the chat box. If I just don't like jewelry and all the questions about jewelry, what do I do? Right? You're like, oh no. you can always do two things. Either use the experiences of others, right? You can say, I don't really like jewelry, but my wife loves jewelry. She has a lot of earrings, necklaces. She likes bright colors. Sometimes for her birthday or Christmas, I buy her some jewelry, right? I'm not saying that this would be your case, but I'm just trying to think of possibilities. Or you can lie. And that's frankly true as well. You don't have to be telling the truth here, right? Because I think the problem you're going to have here, Josue, is that you're essentially saying the same thing, right? If you just keep on saying it's only watches, actually, you're not really developing your answers very much. So you might sometimes have to think a little bit outside the box and think, how can I give more detail here? Or maybe I give the example of someone else, right?
Okay, yes.
Okay, good one. Well, you've got plenty of time to prepare. Welcome to E2. I hope you're finding it helpful. Okay, let's take another volunteer. So who's going to be next? Let me see. Gayatri. This is all very busy in the chat box at the moment. If you're joining us on YouTube, and some people are today, then welcome. If you come over and join us in E2, and sign up for one of our packages, then you have all kinds of options to join us in live classes like this. We also have small group classes, and you can join us in tutorial sessions to get this one-to-one feedback. And we have live classes like this every day of the week. So think about it. Great. Hi, Gayatri.
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it's very clear.
Great, we can hear you. Where are you speaking to us from today?
I'm from Muscat, Oman.
Okay, super. Do you have your IELTS test coming up soon?
Yeah, I'm right. I'm taking the test in February.
February, brilliant. Is it going to be your first time or have you taken it before?
No, I've taken it before. I got 7 in speaking last time.
All right.
My writing was a bit low, so I'm taking the test again. It was 6.5. I need 7 and more.
So many people get in that situation.
Yeah.
Are you attending the live classes for writing as well?
Yes, I am.
Really helpful, right? With Sasha. I hope you're finding those helpful. Listen, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you this question. Do you prefer to write by hand or type?
I always prefer to write by my hand. Though I'm good at typing on a computer or other devices, electronic gadgets, but I still prefer to use pen and paper. It gives me satisfaction of doing the task by myself. And while writing by my hand, I can actually grasp a lot of things on the subject what I write.
Okay, nice. So here we go. Some nice demonstrations of a 7 candidate here, because you had some good colloquial sort of expressions, which you would, gives me satisfaction. I can grasp things. You used a though clause as well. That was very nice. The only thing I would correct here is that I wouldn't usually say writing by my hand. I would just say by hand without the my, right?
Okay.
So you a couple of times. Very well done. Good one. Well, listen.
Thank you very much.
Good luck with the writing aspect of it. I know that is tricky to break through. That 7 for writing is very elusive for people. So good luck. Right, let me take another idea. I'm going to go with Madhavi Trivedi, and then we will move on in a moment. Madhavi, let me just find you there. Hello, Madhavi.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, welcome. Where are you speaking to us from today?
I'm from India, Mumbai.
India, Mumbai. Super. And do you have your test coming up soon?
Yeah, it's on 23rd February.
Okay. Is it the first time or have you done it before?
Yes, very first time.
Right, super. And what score are you aiming for, Madhavi?
Definitely 6 to 7.
6 to 7. Right, great. All right, here we go. Are you ready? I'm going to ask you that question that you asked me. A lot of people ask, will children still learn to write in the future?
As per my opinion, they will and they should also. Actually, nowadays, if you see, there are the high technology are used everywhere worldwide. But still, if they will use and they will learn the handwriting, it will be very useful in the future as well. Like in the past, if you see, there were no technologies available, but still kids were doing very well by using their pen and papers. And it is very useful in the future also, because if the technologies are not available or they are down, what they have to do, it's very useful for them if they will learn this in future.
Okay. Thank you, Madhavi. A good extended answer there. You spoke for a lot, a good amount of time. You explained, you gave some examples. That was good. There was some nice vocabulary. I think you started out with the expression, as per my opinion. I'm not so sure about that.
Yes.
I would just say, in my opinion, or in my view, right?
Okay.
Very first couple of sentences, you did a thing which I think sometimes we do when we're thinking or we're a bit nervous, which is you kind of said all the words very individually, right? So you're kind of going, yeah, I think that children will carry on. It's a very typical thing to do. You just have to be a bit careful.
It's a good idea. Yes.
But keep it flowing. Yeah, keep it flowing. But I thought this was very fluent. Good, strong start. Well done. All right. Keep up the practice.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Sure. Thanks. Thank you, ma'am.
Right. I'm going to move on now. I know that there are plenty of people. Oh, I forgot actually to do that. There you go. Plenty of people would like a go. But remember, if you would like a chance to do this, you can book a one-to-one tutorial session with us, or you can also book a mock test. A mock test includes speaking. So you would have the chance to do a one-to-one speaking test via Zoom. And we also have a thing called the speaking intensive. As in the speaking intensives, you can also do this mock test and get feedback. So these are other opportunities to speak with us. Let's move on to part 2 now. In part 2, as we know, this is the 2-minute turn, and you're given a task or a card or a booklet. You have 1 minute to prepare and take notes, and then you speak for 2 minutes. And the examiner will sometimes ask you 1 or 2 follow-up questions. This is where that PPF comes in. This is the task card. Okay, here's an example. It always has some bullet points and then an extra point down at the bottom. Okay. The methods here are PPF, past, present, future. We've got 2 versions of this. Either version 1 would be to tell 3 separate stories about the past, the present, the future. So this would be, in this case, there's shops. You tell 3 separate stories about 3 different shops. Or version 2 would be you talk about a shop, and in your description of the shop, you include some information from the past and some information from the present and information from the future. Last week, we listened to an example of a candidate doing this on Tesla. We all laughed about Tesla, but it was a very good example of how we could include past, present, future. So do check out that recording if you missed it. It's from last week. Or the other method is what we call the traditional method. And in here, you start with an introduction, and then you use these points on the task card to structure your talk in order, talking more or less for 30 seconds on each. So our recommendation is that you practice all the methods, and you choose the method that works best for you. Let's practice. All right. Get your recording apps ready. On screen, you will see the card, you will hear the timers, and you will have a follow-up question. All right, good luck. Here we go.
Now I'm going to give you a topic, and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you speak, you'll have 1 minute to think about what you're going to say, and you can make some notes if you wish. Use a pen and paper for your notes, and here's your topic. I'd like you to talk about something you would like to do to improve your health. All right? Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes, so don't worry if I stop you. I'll tell you when the time is up. Can you start speaking now, please? Thank you. Are your friends healthy?
Okay, well done. That last question, the follow-up question, here you were allowed 15 seconds. It could just be a sentence or 2 sentences. You don't have to go into a lot of detail there. Usually it's while the examiner is kind of retrieving the booklet or taking it from you, or just to finish before they move on to part 3. Let's reflect on this. What did you do well here? What did you find difficult? What do you need to work on? And how can you work on it? So think about your answer. Are you close to a band 7? Band 7 is often where students are aiming for. All right, let's have a look at what a band 7 means according to those band descriptors. So for a band 7, you need to speak without effort. So this means not too much hesitation, not too much searching for vocabulary. And you need to use a range of connectives and discourse markers. So you need to take that into consideration. You also, for vocabulary, you need to use vocabulary flexibly, and crucially, you need to use some less common or idiomatic vocabulary. Don't confuse idiomatic vocabulary with idioms. Idioms are things like a stitch in time saves 9, or many cooks spoil the broth, right? They're not expecting you to spout this kind of thing. What they're looking for is less common colloquial language. So we had an example, gives me satisfaction, grasp an idea, phrasal verbs can be good for this as well. And you need a good range of this to be able to get a 7. And also you need to be able to paraphrase, so say the same things in different ways. For grammatical range and accuracy, you need to use a range of complex structures. So that means that's why we recommend PPF, so that you can use some things from the past, the present, and the future. With this question, it's very easy to do that, right? You talk about how healthy you were in the past, how healthy you are now, and how healthy you would like to be and what you're changing, right? And crucially, you must produce frequent error-free sentences. So you need to be able to not make mistakes when you're speaking. And for pronunciation, we're looking at intonation, emphasis, stress, connected speech, and you must pronounce all sounds correctly. So this is also, very important to be thinking about. And you want to be thinking about this checklist as you are listening to yourself doing these tasks. I'm not going to take a volunteer for this one, I'm afraid. Remember, you do have opportunities to practice this in those one-on-one tutorials, or either via the assessment tasks online, or via the speaking intensive sessions, or the mock test. Okay, all of those are available through the dashboard. Are we allowed to use words like diabetes and hypertension? Absolutely, Farzik. Yep. Let me just have a quick look at the chat box. All right. I will remember at the end, take questions as well. So if I've missed your question, then hang on to the end and there'll be a question and answer session, okay? Part 3. So this is the discussion. It's based on the topic of part 2. It takes about 4 or 5 minutes, depending on how much you extend your answers. And here you're going to get 3 to 8 questions related to that presentation. Please don't worry if you feel that you don't know much about the topic, because this is a language test, not an IQ test. Obviously, sometimes you're going to get a topic and you think, yes, I love this topic, I feel really confident. And sometimes you're going to get topics which you think, oh, I have no idea. If that happens to you, it's bad luck, and you're just going to have to try to get through it as best you can, right? At the end of the day, it is a language test. So you can be honest about it, and you can say, oh, I don't really know much about this, but I would guess that, or I imagine that, or, you just use your knowledge of the world to give your best answer. The questions here are general and abstract. They are more difficult. The test gets progressively more difficult. They're not personal. So it'd be things like, why don't some people take care of their health? Or how important are computers in education? So they're not expecting you to always talk about yourself here. You're talking in general, referring to the general situation. We have methods to help you with this. Does anybody remember what these methods are? These are the techniques that can help you to extend your answers and demonstrate your range of grammar and vocabulary. Here we have them. All of these are explained in detail on the platform. All right, we have example videos with Alex explaining all of these in detail. There are 5 different things that we recommend. One of them is explain, so say how and why. The second one is frame. The third one, by time. So this is kinds of expressions you can use like, oh, that's a tricky question. I haven't thought about that one before. Let me see. Yeah, what you're doing there is using the expression to buy yourself time to think about the rest of your answer. You can give examples, or a really good one, consider 2 views. So you can say, well, some people think da 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 da, while others, right, or on the other hand, or however. And this allows you to say more things, and also to include that complex language, those discourse markers. Before we practice part 3, let's activate some vocabulary. So this part 3 is about health. I want you to think of some interesting language that you can use. You can share it with us in the chat box. I'll give you 45 seconds to brainstorm, and then we'll look at a list, and then we'll do a quiz. Here we go. Loads of ideas in the chat box. Let's take a look at some of our ideas. I'll give you 45 seconds to read through this. Okay, and now let's take a look at a vocabulary quiz. We've got, first of all, here we have 5 words or phrases, and I want you to try to guess them, first of all, with no hint, and then I'll give you a hint. Here we go. Let's give you a bit of a clue. Here we go. Another 30 seconds with the first letter of these words. So anything you're not sure about, you can have a bit of a clue. All right. Good one. So many of you got these. The electronic device for video games was a console or console. There are 2 pronunciations, I think, of that word. Some people were asking about that in the chat box. So it's things like an Xbox or a PlayStation or a Nintendo Switch, right? Those are all consoles. Inactive was sedentary, or you can also say, in fact, I think you can say sedentary or sedentary. Both are fine. The condition of being extremely overweight is obesity. Obesity is the noun. The adjective, obviously, is obese. Copy or imitate was this word mimic. Become popular is take off. We're going to see this word in context in a moment. And a running machine is called a treadmill. Good one. I've opened the chat box up again now. I closed it there so that you didn't bother each other with your answers, so some people could have a chance to have a think. What we're going to do now, before you have a turn, we're going to listen to some sample answers from a candidate who scored 8.5. All right. These are the 4 questions that she answers in part 3. I want you to listen and notice how she extends her answers, what methods she uses, and what vocabulary she uses to extend her answers. Here we go.
How healthy are people in your region?
I think overall people are really healthy in India because most people eat home-cooked meals, and the fast food movement hasn't really taken off in India yet. So people don't really eat a lot of junk food, fast food, or drink many sugary drinks. So yeah, I think overall people in India are pretty healthy.
What activities do people do to be healthy and fit?
So in India, people usually play sport to stay healthy and fit. Most people play cricket. That's probably the most popular sport in India. Some people play soccer and basketball as well. Badminton is pretty famous. A lot of people swim to stay healthy. And recently there have been a lot of gyms that have come up in urban areas. and a lot of people spend hours at the gym trying to get healthy. But I personally feel that just going out for a run is better than staying in a gym and running on a treadmill.
How has technology affected people's health?
I think technology is contributing to a sedentary lifestyle. I honestly feel that technology has made people lazy. I feel like all the sports that people used to play outdoors are now played on consoles in the house. And I think this is what is contributing to childhood obesity because children aren't going out to play anymore because the games, like the virtual reality games that are available today, almost mimic the outdoor conditions, and they just prefer to sit at home, on the couch and play all day.
How can governments help improve the health of their citizens?
I think governments can do a lot to improve the health of their citizens. If we're talking about diet, I think sugary drinks and high-calorie foods should be taxed higher than healthier foods, and fruits, vegetables, healthy meats should be easier and easier to buy and more affordable. And I think if you're talking about physical activity, the government should provide its citizens with more green spaces, more sports centers, parks, where they can exercise and play sport and stay healthy.
Okay, so that was an excellent candidate, as I already said. This is an 8.5. Let's take a look and see what was so great. What was the vocabulary that she was using here? So this is the first question. It's a sample of the first question. Take a look at this. Can you guess or remember the words that she used here? Take a look. You can put it in the chat box if you remember anything. Okay, and now let's take a listen, and you can listen and fill the gaps. If you've already managed to complete those gaps, you can read along with her and practice your pronunciation here.
How healthy are people in your region?
I think overall people are really healthy in India because most people eat home-cooked meals, and the fast food movement hasn't really taken off in India yet. So people don't really eat a lot of junk food, fast food, or drink many sugary drinks. So yeah, I think overall people in India are pretty healthy.
All right, so the words here, most of you got this. We had home cooked meals, the fast food movement, it hasn't taken off, and fast food or drink many sugary drinks. All right, so what we're getting here is really a good example of idiomatic vocabulary that we can use. Here is another sample. Take a look, have a quick read through it before we listen. See if you can remember any of the words. Okay, and now let's take a listen. Here we go.
How has technology affected people's health?
I think technology is contributing to a sedentary lifestyle. I honestly feel that technology has made people lazy. I feel like all the sports that people used to play outdoors are now played on consoles in the house. And I think this is what is contributing to childhood obesity because children aren't going out to play anymore because the games, like the virtual reality games that are available today, almost mimic the outdoor conditions, and they just prefer to sit at home, on the couch and play all day.
All right, so let's take a look at those answers there. We had sedentary lifestyle, played on consoles in the house, childhood obesity, virtual reality games, and they mimic the outdoor conditions. So let's practice. Maybe you'll get to use some of that vocabulary in your own answers. Get yourselves your recording apps ready. All right, we're going to do 4 questions. Here we go. Good luck.
We've been talking about something you'd like to do to improve your health, and I'd like to ask you 1 or 2 more questions related to this. Let's talk about health and fitness. How healthy are people in your region? What activities do people do to be healthy and fit? Let's talk about public health. How has technology affected people's health? How can governments help improve the health of their citizens?
Well done. How was that? Did you manage to use some of that vocabulary that we'd looked at? I hope so. Good one. So let's take some volunteers for this one. If you would like to have a go at one of these part 3 questions, let me know. Karen, I'm going to go with you. You were quick off the mark. Let's see, Karen. Here we go.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Where are you
How are
speaking?
you?
Yeah, good. Where are you speaking to us from, Karen?
I'm from Canada, but I'm originally from Colombia.
Great. That's 2 Colombians in the house today. Super.
Yes.
And are you planning to do the test soon?
Oh my gosh, very soon. Actually, next Monday, on the 1st February.
Okay, great. Will it be your first time? Have you taken it before?
First time.
Okay.
First time.
Super. All right, I'm going to ask you a question. How
Okay.
healthy are people in your region?
Well, I believe people in Colombia are in general very healthy. Usually they do a lot of sports, they go to the gym, but I think the main reason why they are able to stay healthy is because of the food we eat in Colombia. We don't eat that much fast food, but we have a lot of restaurants which offer more local and traditional dishes, which are made of with healthy ingredients like some kind of vegetables and meat, and these are foods that don't have a lot of additives of chemical products, so I think they're better for your health.
Great. This is a nice sample. You've got good fluency, some nice range of vocabulary. There wasn't any hesitation, really. You extended your answer sufficiently. I'm sure you're going to do well. That was excellent.
Thank you very much.
All the best for the test. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, let's take another volunteer for our next question. Let's see where we go in the world now. We're going to go with Emin. Emin. Let me find you. 1 second. Here. Hello.
Oh.
Hello. Hi. I think the connection.
Hi, can you hear me well?
Not so well. Where are you speaking to us from?
I'm speaking from Saudi Arabia, but I'm originally from Egypt.
Okay, super. And do you have your test coming up soon?
Yeah, I bought the test on February.
In February?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try this. The connection is not great, but we'll give it a go, Emin, okay? I'm going to ask you a question. What activity?
Okay.
What activity?
Okay.
I think we've got a delay on the line. I'll ask again. What activities do people do to be healthy and fit?
Well, in my country, there are a variety of activities to be done to keep themselves healthy and fit. Through running and cycling, they can feel energetic and healthy, and also they can improve their physical health as well. And in addition to this, the availability of gyms in every corner in my country encourages many people to join gym or to hit the gym to practice exercise regularly during the week. So via regular exercising, they can keep themselves fit and healthy as well.
Okay, we just about got that, I think. The line was not brilliant, Emin, but your answer was well developed. You extended it, you gave a lot of detail, so there was some good vocabulary there. The main thing to be working on there, I would say, would be your intonation and the way it flows. It's sounding a little bit like separated words and not a flow of language. So you need to work on your intonation and how the connected speech, and you're pausing and giving the words meaning by the way you use these pronunciation features. Okay, I've turned off your mic already, but you did a really good job with things like vocabulary and extending your answer. So well done. All right, let's take another person. We're going to go with Tariq. Tariq, I'm just going to find you now. Here. Hello.
Hi, ma'am. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Where are you speaking to us from, Tariq?
Actually, I'm speaking from Australia, but originally I belong to Pakistan.
Okay, super. You've been celebrating Australia Day down there today.
Yeah, really today, a lot of people outside are celebrating the Australian Day.
Very good. Do you have your test coming up soon?
Yeah, I'm just planning to have a test booked on next week, but I'm not sure, like, should I have to go with it or not yet.
Right. Okay. Tariq, if you could speak as loudly as you can, the line is not great. I'm going to ask you a question, okay? How has technology affected people's health?
Actually, nowadays, as people usually prefer to play sports and like games on internet and use technology, and they don't like to go outside and do some physical exercises. Like as you can see, a lot of children nowadays really like to spend their time on PlayStations and Xbox. So I think technology is affecting in really a bad way to the next generation compared to last few decades.
Good. Okay. Like I said, the line was not great. So it's a little bit difficult to get it, but you extended your answer here well. You compared the past with the present. You extended, it was good vocabulary. Well done. Nice one. Good luck with the test.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to take one more volunteer. Let me see who it's going to be. Oof. Oh, it's so hard, isn't it, to choose? Let me see. Me. People sending me love hearts. Some nice good looks. That's good. Let me have a look. I'm going to go with Zara. Zara.
Hi.
Hello.
I wasn't expecting that.
I was thinking at the other end, it must be a bit weird. Like everyone's who is she going to say? I don't like doing this selecting people part. Zara, where are you? Where are you speaking to?
I'm speaking from Ireland, but I'm Nigerian.
Okay, great. And have you got your test coming up soon?
Yes, I've got my test coming on the 6th of February. Yeah.
Really soon. Great.
Yeah, really soon.
Is it your first time or have you done it before?
This is my first time.
Super. What band are you aiming for?
7, 8.
7, 8. All right, let's listen. I'm going to ask you a question. In the chat box, you can tell me, what do you think Zara's going to get? Okay, everyone. Are you ready? How can governments help improve the health of their citizens?
Okay, I'm going to speak as a Nigerian. I'm Nigerian, and in Nigeria, we don't have a lot of the sports centers or gym facilities, anything at all that can help anyone exercise. We don't have good routes to contribute to, morning jogging and the rest of them. So if the government can actually help Nigerians by building gym facilities that can help us exercise, and also if they can help reduce the price on vegetables in Nigeria. Things like broccoli is way expensive. About a kilo is about 10,000 naira, and that's really out of price range for just 2 or 4 pieces of it. Yeah, so if the government can help us cut down prices and build more structures that can help its citizens exercise, that would go a long way to help.
Wow, pretty good. Do you think? Good answer, right? That would go a long way. That's a nice expression. Out of their price range. This is very good. This is an 8.
Ooh!
Oh yeah, definitely. You do a couple of little mistakes.
Okay.
You could reduce the price on vegetables, but it would be of vegetables, not on.
Okay.
Minuscule things, like a couple of things that I noticed, but you're very good fluency, very good extension, very good, very natural. Intonation is good. I mean, I think English is one of the official languages in Nigeria, right? So
yes, it is.
You have an advantage over many people who are here, right? So we have to acknowledge that, from Nigeria, but you probably 3 or 4 languages, I imagine.
I actually lived in the UK a long time, so yeah.
Right, this is very good. So
thank you.
Good luck with the test. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to hear from you and from all of our volunteers today. Thank you ever so much to everybody. Apologies if I had to cut you off because the line was not great. Remember to listen to your own recordings after class so you can evaluate yourself and reflect on these things. What did you do well? What did you find difficult? What do you need to work on? And how can you work on it? And remember, to be able to work on things, you have all of the live classes. This is for people who have a package with us with E2 Language. We have live classes every day. today. And if you can't attend them, you can access all of the recordings in here. Then we also have the full self-study materials. They are available through here, and you can access the core skills, which is extra grammar practice, and E2 School through there. You can submit your writing and speaking for feedback by our team. You can also book tutorial sessions with us. You can do the IELTS mock test that we have. This is a computer delivered test. It includes a one-to-one speaking test via Zoom, and you get back band scores and also feedback to help you to improve your scores. And you can book or buy the mock test there on the platform. Also, don't forget, you can see our latest videos on YouTube. And right now, if you sign up for a new package or an upgrade, you will get a free IELTS ebook. And in there, you receive a copy of the 20 topic toolkits. Now, these are an excellent resource. They include, for 20 of the most common topics on IELTS, you have practice speaking questions, practice essay questions, links to articles, videos, podcasts. You have a glossary of common vocabulary. You have an example essay. I mean, you could take it on any of the topics that you're not 100% confident with. This is going to really help you to boost your score. And that brings us to the end of the session. So if you have to go, I'll say many thanks for being here today. If you're sticking around and you have a question, please put the questions in the chat box, and I'm going to go and take a look at those now. Let's see. So we have, let's see, what Suda says, when I click on a video from the reading, writing tabs, they disappear. Maybe you're talking about your, what's that called? Your study plan. So on the right hand side, you have like a study plan. You can reset that, or you can also access them through the IELTS material. Let me just share my screen again with you. And I will show you what I mean. Here we go. If I just pop back to this, I think you're talking about here, because this is your study pathway. If you view these, then they disappear, it's true, but you can also access them through here, through the IELTS general course. And in there, you will be able to access them too. Or you can reset this. If you go to filter and reset, they will appear again. All right. Hope that helps. Let's take another look. I'm new to this speaking class. It was my first session, says Ada. Well, I hope it was helpful, Ada. What if I need to revisit this video again? So where I showed you where the recorded classes are, you can see them all in there. Shrikant says, what should be our body language while speaking? Can we do hand gestures, or do we have to sit straight? Oh, you can absolutely use hand gestures. Totally fine. Use your whole body, use your eyes, especially if you're wearing a mask, right? You can use your eyes to smile, your eyebrows, all those things to put across your meaning. Let's see. Mossun saying, thank you, you're very welcome. I have my test in a week. Any last minute preparation? Use E2 language. Attend our live classes. Practice as much as you can. Any podcasts or links for vocabulary or speaking, the topic toolkits that I was just talking about are excellent sources of vocabulary. You also have podcasts in there. We have our very own podcast, which is called E2 Talks. That's also a really good place to practice, because all the podcasts in there are kind of interesting from the exam perspective as well. And how to improve speaking as much as you can, getting practice, extending your vocabulary, listening as much as you can, copying native speakers, all of these things help, and attending our live classes, of course. All right, I think that's pretty much the end of the questions. So I'm going to say many thanks. It was a pleasure to be here with you today. I will be back here next week. So until then, good luck with practice. Good luck if you've got your tests coming up soon, and have a good